Jurassic Park. Um, so I got one thing to say about this movie, and that's pretty much it. Dinosaurs. Okay, bye. I'm just kidding. Uh, the dinosaurs are cool. Don't get me wrong. And that's not the only thing I like about this movie. But now that I said that, I can't think of words. Um, so is it only just me, or did for the longest time you thought the kid at the beginning that Alan Grant traumatizes? Did we all think that was Jake Gyllenhaal young, or was it just me? Which doesn't make any sense, because he didn't look anything like that when he was young. And I think he was too old at this time to look that young. But anyway, for a long time, I thought that was Jake Gyllenhaal. I never just looked. But when I finally did, I was like, oh, that's not Jake Gyllenhaal. That's nice. But, yeah. Um, so there's all the normal nostalgic moments from this movie. I mean, when Alan and the others first see the Brachiosaur at the beginning, it's like one of the most beautiful scenes in the whole film. I mean, it's just pure. That scene is just pure cinema. It's pure Spielberg cinema. First of all, uh, the scene with the T Rex escaping. That's another iconic scene with CGI that still holds up 40 something years later. Nearly 90, yeah, nearly 40 something years later or more. The raptors in the kitchen, the little scene with the T-Rex ambushes the Gallimimus, the scene at the very end where the T-Rex kind of sort of saves the our main characters and stuff from the raptors. I mean, this film is just so filled with so many iconic moments, and it doesn't help anything that this was pretty much like, is it Jaws or this people call the first blockbuster? I feel like Jaws was the first blockbuster. I feel like that's right. I don't know. I thought this was the first blockbuster. Anyway, uh, but I feel like this really did change the game, especially for CGI and live action film. Because I mean, there's movies today coming out that don't have CGI that looks as good as this film, and that's kind of embarrassing in my opinion. And not to even mention the practical effects, like the practical T-Rex and practical raptors look so cool. I think I remember saying like one or two oopsies in this movie where I just like something messed up or whatever. But he's just like barely in the frame. But besides that, I mean, everything looks really good. And then you have the whole gorge that comes out of nowhere during this scene here. And I think I've seen several recreations of how that happened or how this could work. And I get it, it's just like, I feel like that was a little bit of an oversight, but people have remade it in Jurassic World Evolution or just mapped it out in general to where it could work, and I subscribe to that. Those little theories like that, just to ease my own uh, gripes about the movie. I mean, it's 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It is the best Jurassic Park movie anyway, which I mean, it's not saying much. And when it comes to that, honestly, if I had to rank them, it's probably almost in order of release. Besides Rebirth, I liked a little bit better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. But, well, I guess not. Oh, and this is the first franchise I'm tackling that I actually have all the films for, so I plan on watching these in order. And then afterwards, I probably will post a second video the same day as Rebirth, where I rank all the Jurassic Park films. But this can be like super ranking, whatever. But basically, well, I'll rank them in a tier list, so it'll be a little different. But basically, it goes Jurassic Park, Lost World, Jurassic World, JP3, Rebirth, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion in that order. And I know the Lost World's got its haters, so is JP3. But like, look, sue me, but they're both pretty great in their own ways. Even though JP3 is the worst of the original three by far, and I feel like Dominion's the weakest of the second set of three. And Rebirth was okay. I enjoyed it in theaters. I'm glad it brought more of a sense of scale back to the dinosaurs in that one scene, and I liked the more scientifically accurate Spinosaurus. I mean, just Spinosaurus in the JP movie in general is just great to have anyway. But yeah, I think that's about all I gotta say about it. I mean, it's a peak movie. I mean, the first Jurassic Park was just pure cinema and pure Spielberg cinema in every way, shape, or form. If I remember right, this was being developed at the same time as Schindler's List, which I will watch sometime. Schindler's List is a huge blind spot for me. I haven't seen yet, but I got the 4K of that for Christmas, so it kind of gives me more of an incentive to actually watch it. It's just picking up 3 hours I can spend to watch it. That'll be like when I watch it on the weekend, where I have the time to, for sure. Because during the week, I try to keep the movies 2 hours or under, just so I can get them watched and get them done in the same night. Like it's already pretty late now, and I watched this tonight. But I got started late watching it, and then I had to make the Up from Poppy Hill, or from Up on Poppy Hill video that I was supposed to do yesterday that I didn't feel like doing. But yeah. Anyway, just enough of the rambling. But just expect the next 6 videos to be Jurassic Park / Jurassic World videos, and then the 7th video will be a tier list, and then I'll probably go back to like single films that aren't really part of a trilogy or anything. I'll probably just do another Studio Ghibli after that. I probably want a little refresh for me of the blockbuster type movies at that point, I feel like. So I'll probably watch The Wind Rises. I've kind of been looking forward to watching it, even though I know it's sad and I'll probably cry, but it'll be okay. I think I'll really enjoy it, I hope. But anyway, yeah. Appreciate you watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you tomorrow. So the second film in the Jurassic Park franchise, The Lost World. Um, this is my second favorite in the whole franchise, in my opinion. Duh. Anyway, uh, I like this one a good bit because it feels darker than the first one. The first one's definitely got its darker moments for sure, and it's scary in its own way. But this one, I wouldn't call it scarier. It just feels darker, especially during the character deaths or just deaths in general. And this one, I noticed tonight that when a character or side character or background character dies in this movie, it's more graphic in the sound design than the first one and the other ones preceding it are, in my opinion, for what I remember. And my opinion may change once I get to the third one, the Jurassic World and everything else. But as of right now, this one, from my memory, seems like it's more gruesome in the sound design sense. Uh, this one, I believe, is a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, if I remember right. Check real quick. Little, little raw. Uh, checking Letterboxd on Mac. There. 4.5 stars. Yeah, I think I'll keep it like that because I rated the first one 5 out of 5. I don't like this one as much as the original. So I think 4.5 is fair. And I think it just gets progressively lower from there. I think Jurassic World I have a 4.5, and I think Jurassic Park 3 I have it at 4. And I don't know if I've watched Fallen Kingdom and Dominion since I got on Letterboxd. So those ratings may change. Or those probably new ratings for me actually. But yeah, the just a darker tone of this movie in general, in my opinion. And the practical effects, of course, are great. This is back when they were doing practical effects all the time, and even the CGI moments look pretty good for a movie from the late 90s, which I find insane, especially comparing it to modern day movies where CGI looks really bad, unless you're James Cameron. Yeah, it's pretty good. But, yeah, anyway. A couple parts in this movie I really like. I like the beginning because they took that from the original book and changed it up a little bit. And the transition from the opening scene to the scene of Ian Malcolm on the subway with a scream. I think that's like one of the best transitions ever. It's not perfect, but it's pretty funny. Uh, I like the fact that not, I'm trying to think of I like the scene where the trailers get knocked off the cliff by those tyrannosaurs. I feel bad because um, Eddie died. I think is his name because he's a very likable character and everything. But I mean, he has like probably the most gory death in the whole movie. I think. And it's darker because they kill a dog during the end of the movie. Maybe you kill a dog, that's automatic. Pretty messed up. Uh, as far as I know, they pretty much didn't take anything from the Lost World book and put it in this movie. From the little bit I know out of the book, I believe the story is completely different. So, besides something to do with Ian Malcolm, I think that's pretty much the only thing I really carried over. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Uh, yeah, tomorrow will be Dress Part 3. So look for that if you made it this far. Uh, let me know what movie you want me to watch next after I finish this franchise. And subscribe if you want. I don't care. That's fine. Most nobody's probably gonna make it to the end of this video anyway, right now. But it'd be nice if you do, and it'd be nice if you did subscribe. Hopefully my video quality will get better as time goes on. But anyway, I appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Jurassic Park 3. Uh, I think it's pretty underrated. I don't really have a reason for that besides dinosaurs are cool and I like how the velociraptors look and I like the Spinosaurus. It's pretty cool. Uh, no, but anyway, don't know a lot about this movie. Uh, it kind of went through a rough production, a lot of script rewrites. Uh, while they were filming, they didn't even have a complete script, so they just kind of winged it most of the way. But I still think it ended up being a pretty okay movie. Short compared to all the other Jurassic films. Cool, 90 minutes long. But you see a lot of different dinosaurs you don't usually see in it. Uh, like Tyrannosaurus. I thought there was something else in this movie. Brachiosaur. Pterodactyls are a new addition of this movie. Well, they show some pteranodons at the end of The Lost World, but that's for like literally 10 seconds of screen time at the very end of the film, so I don't really think that counts. To be fair, the Ceratosaurus only had a little bit of screen time in this one, but it was still cool to see. Especially when I was a little kid, I thought that was like really cool seeing a different dinosaur like that. Um, a lot, like I said, a lot of this movie went through some really rough production struggles. Uh, I feel like part of that is because Spielberg wasn't the director of this film. He was actually executive producer. I cannot think of the actual director's name at this moment as I'm saying these words. Uh, I don't know. I mean, all in all, I think it's a pretty decent movie. Uh, I enjoy watching it every time I watch it. Uh, I know I'm saying a lot. I need to get better about that. Sorry. Let's say it again. I like this movie better than I do Dominion or Fallen Kingdom. I will say that they both have pretty cool dinosaurs that you don't see a lot in the series, but I think I still like it better. Uh, and that may be different than what I said in the past two videos. I'll make my mind up by the time we finish the franchise, I think. So, another very controversial part of this movie is the fact that the Spinosaurus whoops the Tyrannosaurus at the first 30 minutes of the movie. And I understand why people wouldn't like that. I do. But as a kid, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Uh, I thought that was the baddest thing there was at the time. Especially watching all those AMVs, or not AMVs, I guess it'd be just videos on YouTube of the Spinosaurus to like 3 Days Grace or Skillet or something. I was always into those as a kid. Uh, I mean, I don't have a ton to say about this movie. I think the Velociraptor's design in this is pretty good. There are a couple plot holes, especially because it takes place on the same island as Lost World. But you gotta wonder where the Spinosaurus was in Lost World and why the raptors look different. And I think the canon explanation for that is that these take place on two different parts of the island. One part of the island is more territorially controlled by the Spinosaurus. The other part is more territorially controlled by the Tyrannosaur family. And it just happens to be two subspecies of the raptors on different parts of the island. Uh, and plus, there's two different facilities. There's the engine facility in at one end, and the other engine facility looks more to be like an office worker part. Not really as many fences or genetic looking stuff in that building. Uh, I like how they portrayed Alan Grant in this movie as pretty jaded. He definitely is traumatized by his experience on Isla Nublar, and that's understandable. He got basically kidnapped and put on Isla Sorna with his family that basically hates each other. They bicker a lot. I wouldn't say hate each other, but understandably he's pretty PO'd about that. And then in the movie, his protege steals raptor eggs, so now the raptors are chasing after them the whole movie until the end. Uh, I had something on my mind. I forgot. Oh, also, if you didn't know, the ending of this was going to be pretty different. At the end, well, there was multiple endings. One ending was going to have, in this script, Alan was actually on the island himself, living with the not among the raptors, but like observing the raptors and other dinosaurs, things like that. And by the end of the movie, he doesn't want to leave. And in another script, after they're rescued by the military, his Sorna gets firebombed and everything's wiped out. So, very different endings in the ending we got. Different stories. I think one script was going to end up being about a group of teenagers that washed up on Isla Sorna and was trying to survive the dinosaurs and things like that. Uh, I think this is pretty good for all the troubles I went through and all the script rewrites I went through. I think it made a mostly cohesive story, at least. Uh, I mean, there. I have my thoughts. I have my thoughts. I mean, I rated 3.5 on Letterboxd. I mean, I definitely have my thoughts. I mean, there's a whole different part of islands thing, and Spinosaurus beating T Rex, yeah. the Kirby family in general, and what killed the guys on the boat in the very beginning of the movie. I forgot about that. I don't think there's a canon explanation for it. I think you would assume it's a pteranodon, but at that point in the movie, they've not been let out of the bird cage, so I don't know how it could be the pteranodon, unless they were just able to get out anyway, and it doesn't matter. But then why wouldn't they? I don't know. It's a whole thing. Uh, I think some people think the Spinosaurus did it, but like I know the Spinosaurus is aquatic, but in this movie it's not depicted as that aquatic, it's just depicted as a big dinosaur. And it is a big dinosaur. I don't think it's as big as it's portrayed in the movie, but it's definitely more aquatic dinosaur as we know today. And I don't know, I just there's just a weird plot hole there with the captain and his helper on the boat at the very beginning. I think that's really the main plot hole that I don't know exclamation for. So that's, I guess that's my main gripe. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I think I leave it at 3.5 on Letterboxd. I may change that honestly. Now that I've sat with it for a day, I've a day late posting this video, but you get 2 videos a day, like you have been recently. But appreciate you watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Jurassic World. Um, this was released 14 years after Jurassic Park 3, I believe. 2003, 2015, something like that. 13, 12, somewhere around there. I remember going to see this at the drive-in with a buddy of mine when I was in high school. Or, I mean, I hadn't been in high school yet. Either way, it was a great time then. And I always forget how much I enjoy this movie until I rewatch it again. I'm like, oh, that's why it's rated 4.5 on my letterbox because I really enjoy it. Because before I watched it again, I was like, I probably like it about as much as JP3, maybe a little bit more. But no, there are a lot of scenes in this where I'm like, oh, okay, I actually enjoy this. Uh, and yeah, this was one of them. Obviously, uh, lots of scenes in this movie that are nice callbacks or just new moments in general. And some first time moments, like we never really got a dinosaur fight before, like an actual true dinosaur fight before until this movie. So now that we actually have a dinosaur fight, it's pretty great. Uh, yeah, okay. Evidently, I don't have really much to say about this as I thought I did. I rated it 4.5 on Letterbox. Uh, score of this movie is amazing because it's just kind of like I don't know if you call it a redux, but it takes elements from the original Jurassic Park score and it adds to it, and then there's like a new suite that is like made part of the original JP score, and that's really enjoyable to listen to in general. Um, Only one bit of practical effects in this whole movie, which is kind of sad, but that's just kind of part of movie nowadays, I guess. Not much you can do about that. But yeah, I really thought I had more to talk. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about now. When this come out, it was nice refresh and nice. Not really return to form, but it was nice to see another Jurassic World project now. At this time, after so many years not having one, and at the same time, it was nice to see it changed up a little bit with the hybrids and things like that. Now, if you're a Jurassic Park fan, the hybrids are kind of okay. Let's get past that because after Fallen Kingdom, everyone was like, okay, we get it, the hybrids, blah blah blah. And in Dominion, they kind of got rid of that for some reason. And Rebirth, they kind of brought it back with the T Rex that was pretty much in the movie for like 10 whole minutes, even though it was supposed to be like the main villain dinosaur, I guess you'd call it. I don't really know how I would describe that, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm not rewatch Rebirth since I watched it in theaters, so I may like it better than I did initially, which I enjoyed it. But either way, yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching if you actually made it this far, and I'll see you tomorrow. So today I watched Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I liked it better than I thought I would, honestly. Uh, I remember it not being my favorite movie in the franchise, and it's still not for sure. But I probably enjoyed it about as much as I did Jurassic Park 3, I'd say. It was nice to see that they used more practical effects in this movie. That is for sure. Uh, and similar to The Lost World, I like all the darker moments they had. And there wasn't a lot, but the end of Raptor to me was genuinely scary. The few actual scary moments it had, and I mean, it's a serviceable movie. It does a good job entertaining. Uh, Definitely not a great movie, and it's definitely not anywhere close to The Lost World or the original Jurassic Park, in my opinion. But I like the concept's nice, trying to advocate for the dinosaurs that are on the island, since they're basically abandoned. I liked a little bit of a cameo from Ian Malcolm, even though he was very heavily advertised when this movie come out, and he's in it for like a whole 3 minutes total. Maybe not even that much. And I'll be honest, I mean, I had seen this before, but I feel like you could see the twist coming from a mile away. Who the actual bad guy is. Just, like, I don't know. I feel like it would have benefited if the twist happened later in the movie, but that's a lot of stuff that happened in the movie for it to end up still being later in the movie, and stuff's happened after that. So I understand that much. I, Something else I find weird is because at the end of Jurassic World, Claire get together supposedly, and then this all of a sudden they couldn't handle each other and they broke up or whatever. And they've been not talking, and then all of a sudden she shows up and whatever. I don't know. Just that part of it just didn't see the point of that. I didn't think that moved the plot along at all. Really, nothing would have changed either way. I don't think because they end up basically getting back together by the end of it again anyway to raise the girl, Maisie. I thought that was kind of pointless, but I'm not the one that wrote the movie. Another thing I like is all the new dinosaurs we see in this movie. See the Baryonyx for the first time. See the Carnotaurus for the first time. Yeah, first time for it. Same with Allosaurus. See a lot of dinosaurs for the first time in this one. Probably the best scene is the lava scene with the Baryonyx, and then the running away from the the I don't remember what the technical term is. Is it magmas was in the earth, and I think lava is what's called outside. I don't know. Yeah. But they're running away from the eruption. You see all the dinosaurs and stuff, and then they're rolling through the water, and the dinosaurs are jumping into the water. It's pretty sad, but it's a pretty good scene altogether. Uh, Really sad scene is at the end of the when they get on the boat to leave the island, and the Brachiosaur uh, does a signature look from like the original movie. That's pretty sad. And it's played to be a sad moment, which is kind of feeding off nostalgia, but still, it's fitting, and I think it's a good moment for this movie. Um, I don't know. I mean, I just it done things better than Jurassic World, and it done things worse than Jurassic for sure. The things I did think it did better was the stunts and practical effects. And the things I did work think I did worse was just story in general, which as a sequel is probably not gonna be better than the first one. Or the sequel to a new trilogy, whatever. Not the soldier villain guy. I don't remember his name. I thought he was pretty forgettable. Not gonna lie, his death was memorable though. That's pretty fun. Pretty fun death to watch. Excuse me, the Indoraptor tricking him into thinking it's unconscious when it's really not. Uh, I don't know. I felt like there was more time spent into the mansion the first time I saw this, but on rewatch, I really don't feel like hardly any time was spent in the mansion. Not as much as I thought. Anyway, but I can't remember any of the people's name. Eli was the twist villain of this movie, and like I said, I kind of felt like you could see that coming from a mile away. And I feel like I remember the twist of Maisie being a clone of uh, the older guy's father. I feel like I remember that being a bigger plot point, but it's barely talked about at all. And it's more, I guess I'm thinking of Dominion, where it's more of a thing, because Dominion's where they see videos of her mother. I think it's either. I thought they saw it in this movie. I think that's what I was thinking about. Is that she sees the videos of her mother. I think that might be in Dominion. I guess I'll find out tomorrow. But we got two more movies left in the franchise between Dominion and Rebirth. After I do that, I'll probably upload a supercut of all these videos in just one long video. And then I'll do a tier list of what I think of all of them. But yeah, I think that's about it for me. This movie's got some pretty cool scenes. I like to see where they have to do surgery on Blue. I think that's pretty, not emotional, but I think it's a solid scene, and I like the scene during that time where they're having to take blood from the T Rex. Part of that scene is done practically too, which I really like. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that's all I got. So appreciate it if you made it this far, and I'll see you tomorrow. So today I watched Jurassic World Dominion. This is the final Jurassic World movie following Chris Pratt's character and the other characters. I cannot think of their names. It's pretty much the last main series Jurassic movie, I guess you'd call it. Because Rebirth is like a totally new thing, but not really. Uh, anyway, uh, there's a lot of things I like about this movie, and more things I don't like about this movie. Like, for one, I really do like all the new dinosaurs and non dinosaur reptilian creatures that you see, especially the Dimetrodon and see the Dilophosaurus again, and the Therizinosaurus are pretty great. But, like, where the movie excels in effects and practical effects, it lacks in story. Because part of this movie is like a James Bond movie, or what I imagine a James Bond movie being, and the rest of it is just like callbacks to other Jurassic films, and then the rest of it is very poor, fill in the blank areas. I watched the extended version while I watched it today, just because that's the version I prefer, and it adds some scenes that add more context to things. Which, like, I forgot what even the theatrical was like until I watched another video the other day. And, like, two or three scenes that give you a lot of actual context, or not a lot of context, but gives you context for other scenes that are still in the theatrical cut. Do not keep those in the movie if it's only 12 minutes longer. Like, people will watch a long movie. Oppenheimer was 3 hours long, and everybody went and watched it, and which it was worth going to watch for 3 hours. But still, I mean, this movie made $1 billion when it came out, so it definitely didn't have issue getting people in seats. Um, I mean, like I said, there's things I like about this movie. Most of my gripes was probably the pre-release of the movie. I remember all the hype around it because they described the Giganotosaurus as a Joker type villain in a Jurassic series. And everyone was like, okay, well, this thing's gonna be like straight up evil. And it interacts with our characters for like a solid 5 minutes out of the whole 2 hour and 45-minute movie. And then all the hype was like, this movie's an extinction level event. And then you get the Locust storyline. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really pressing to the current right now of the story, though. Now, like, if dinosaurs are actually wiping out humans, I would call that an extinction level event. This is just basically a preventing an extinction level event in a very, excuse me, in a very non-interesting way, I guess you could call it. I mean, it's got its cool parts. Like I said, the practical effects are great, and I do like the legacy characters coming back, and they actually portray their characters how they should be portrayed for the most part. There's some cringy lines though, like Laura Dern saying that Ian Malcolm slid in her DMs. That's that's a tough watch. And then when Macy, is her name Macy? I thought that's not right. Anyway, uh, she jumps in front of Beta and acts like Owen. And I think that's like one of the hardest to watch scenes in the whole movie just because I don't know, it makes me physically cringe. Which, I think the joke when this come out was kind of like Owen Grady kind of ruined Jurassic series frightening velociraptors. Because all three movies is just him putting his hand up in front of dinosaurs to get them to try to not attack or whatever. It's just kind of dumb. The scenes where they're in Malta though are kind of interesting and also kind of not. Interesting is that we see a lot more dinosaurs and a lot more dinosaurs portrayed by practical effects, and I like the idea of the dinosaur black market and just seeing two of my favorite carnivores, the Carnotaurus and the Allosaur. Pretty nice. But besides that, like, that's about it for this whole scene. I mean, I enjoy the chase with the Velociraptors and Owen and Claire. That's pretty fun. Eh, I even think there's a few scenes in that chase where there's no soundtrack. It's just a car slash motorcycle and dinosaurs, which takes up enough of the scene as is. And then we get the whole figuring out that Macy is actually a direct clone of her. Oh, not essentially. So in this movie, Blue reproduces and has Beta because Blue has DNA from a monitor lizard, which can reproduce asexually. And essentially, that's what Macy's mother also did. Was essentially 100% genetically the same, give birth to a child that's exactly the same as her. Uh, I feel like that's really the whole thing that the movie didn't explore well enough, in my opinion, because it's kind of like you may. I feel like that's not her name, Macy. That sounds wrong. Oh, anyway, uh, I don't know. I feel like they could have did better, did better from that part of the story. But another favorite part of this film, though, is the Therizinosaurus. That thing should have been what they described the Giganotosaurus as during all the marketing and everything. Because it is a menace in the very little screen time it gets. And arguably cooler than the Giganotosaurus anyway. I think it would have been fun to have a herbivore like antagonist villain, a dinosaur, versus just another carnivore. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Giganosaurus was the largest terrestrial animal ever to live, or largest predatory terrestrial animal ever to live. But still, though, like, it's just another big theropod. And the Therizinosaurus is different, a herbivore. So essentially, the only reason to try to kill anything like it does the deer is just for it pissing it off, basically. I mean, the deer made a noise and the bird didn't like it, so he smacked him, and that deer did not make it. Uh, Excuse me for my sniffing and everything. I've been pretty stuffy the past couple days with the temperature and all that. Temperature changes, it messes with my sinuses pretty well. But I don't know. Like I said, I think this does a lot of things right, especially with the practical effects. Like Jurassic World had one practical shot in the whole movie. Fallen Kingdom amped that up a little bit, and then this movie threw it out the park with how many practical shots it has and how many practical effects it uses. And I think all the practical effects in this movie look really good. I don't think there's a single scene with practical effects in this whole movie where I'm like, that would look great. And even the CGI looks pretty good, which I feel like this is like the last year they actually tried on CGI on a non James Cameron film. 'Cause I feel like everything's after this just looks, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but this Jurassic film I feel like was like the last actual movie they actually tried VFX and make it look good on. And Rebirth looks good. Okay. I haven't watched it since it come out in theaters, so I've only watched it once. So I'm kind of excited to watch it again. But anyway, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you tomorrow to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. So today I watched Jurassic World Rebirth. I do got some gripes about it, and I do got a lot of things I do like about it. The big thing I absolutely do not like about this movie is that they just kind of play off like the last three movies. Like, oh yeah, pretty much all the dinosaurs died between that movie and this movie. So Rexy's dead, Blue's dead, Beta's dead. All the dinosaurs you like are dead. So yay, yeah, that really rubs me the wrong way. I mean, I don't really know how else to explain it. Yeah, I really don't like that part of it. I mean, I get that's a big point of the story. It's why they had to go where they go. Uh, and another thing, just another random. They made up another island just so they had a new island to go to instead of one of the old ones. And honestly, I think I would have rather them just went back to Isla Sorna in general. Like, the things I really like about this movie is seeing some of the dinosaurs we ain't seen in a while, like the Spinosaurus, which it's new design, but it still looks good. Got to see the Mosasaur, the T Rex, things like that. Like we usually do, but saw the Quetzalcoatlus, saw the Titanosaurus. I mean, I don't remember what the little dinosaur, what kind it is. Saw the Dilophosaurus again, but like the mutant dinosaurs, I'm kind of like, that's kind of over that. And to me, like, they wasn't a big enough threat during the movie. Like, the Mutadons are barely in the movie, except for the last act, like third act, really. And then the D Rex is like literally in half of the third act in the very beginning. Like, the big mutant dinosaurs that they advertise this whole movie around are barely a part of it at all. And I, I don't guess it's really setting up anything new because I feel like this is a pretty rounded out story in this movie. It's got a beginning and an end, and who made it and who didn't make it, and what happened to this and that. So I don't think they're really gonna make a sequel with these new characters anymore. They may not. I don't know. But speaking of the characters, I'm tired of seeing Scarlett Johansson cast and everything, and I get it. And I think she does pretty good in this too, but it's just kind of burn out on the actor in a sense. This little burnout seeing her and everything. But I don't know. I mean, stuff I really like is like I said, the Spinosaurs uh, attacking the boat before they get to the island. I really like that just because it's a Spinosaur. You finally get to see them again. This is JP3. I feel like I remember hearing it was supposed to be originally be in Dominion too, but they changed that for whatever reason. Uh, I don't know. I feel like in Dominion I would have rather seen the Spinosaurus over the Giganotosaurus, but that's whatever. Um, Going back to the characters, I like pretty much all the characters that actually have a part in the movie itself. Like some of the characters that are in the movie don't make it very long, and I think they're okay too. And a lot of people say they don't like the family that's here in the movie, but I think it's fine. I think it's a new dynamic we didn't see before. An actual family was stranded on one of the islands. Uh, oh, and this movie is directed by Garrett Edwards, which he's a great director and probably one of my favorites, honestly, because he directed the highly, in my opinion, highly underrated 2014 Godzilla, which is notorious for only having Godzilla in it for like 15 minutes, but I think the whole style of the movie is great. And he also directed Rogue One, which is one of the best Star Wars movies that's been released, even if it doesn't follow the main character or anything like that. Uh, But something he is good at is making things seem like the scale of things. Uh, the Titanosaurus, the movie actually makes you feel like they're actually that big. It, the scale of them is almost incomprehensible. They're so big. And same thing with the T Rex. It's a bigger T Rex, a more violent T Rex, from what I understand. And they do a good job of showing that it is definitely larger than Rexy was. Um, and the D Rex, for what little bit it is in the movie, they do a good job depicting its scale and how large it is. But I mean, and the Quetzalcoatlus does okay too. I mean, it's a big pterosaur, so I mean it's similar to what we saw in Dominion. But either way, um, plot wise, I feel like we could have come up with something better than a new island where they made mutant dinosaurs and uh, um, the story itself, where they have to go to the island to get certain blood from certain animals and things like that. For Big Pharma, that's an okay plot, I guess. But just the whole new island thing, I don't. I feel like they could have done something else. And now that I think about it, Chaos Theory and Camp Cretaceous, I'm pretty sure shows the Spinosaurus from Sorna was on a different island at that point. So maybe another movie on Sorna was not in the cards anyway. Uh, um, I just I just can't get over the how lazy it feels that they basically killed off all the dinosaurs in fucking Dominion in this movie. Because Dominion came out in 22, so it's just been 3 years since another Jurassic World movie has come out, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they all died. If they weren't around the equator, they're pretty much dead. And they gave all the reasons and such, but I'm like, that just doesn't, that wasn't a concern in the last movie. So why is that all of a sudden, oh, they're all dead? no matter where what climate they were living in, or how how they were getting used to the climate they were in now. It had no bearing on anything in the last movie. So it just kind of feels sudden, and just basically the Rexy and Blue are basically dead. Kind of bit of it is a little kind of with the crap, and it just I don't know, just downplays the dinosaurs in the human world part of Dominion. I feel like just because I get once they've been in the human world so long, they're just kind of like whatever. But like at the beginning of the movie, you have the Apatosaur in New York, and I don't know. To me, I'm like last time we saw the Apatosaurs, they were in I think Montana. I think that's where Owen and Claire were in the beginning of that movie. So it's kind of weird why they're in New York now. But anyway, I don't know. I like I like this movie, but it does rub me the wrong way in several different parts. Uh, I like it about as much as I do JP3. I rated it 3.5 as well as I did JP3. And like there's several moments where I watch this movie, I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then there's other moments and plot points where I'm just like, they couldn't have come up with something better. Because once I figured out when this movie came out and I figured out Garrett Edwards was directing, I had got my hopes a little higher than I originally did. Because when I saw this new Jurassic World, I was like, I thought we just ended this. Why are we doing another one? And then the trailer came out. I was like, okay, maybe. And then it was directed by Garrett Edwards. I was like, there's a chance we got something here. We got Godzilla and Rogue One, for sure. I think he directed The Creator, which I've heard a lot of people like, but I've not seen it. I do know people like that movie for its VFX, and that's something. I think this actually got nominated at the Oscars this year for VFX, which is understandable. I don't think there's any practical dinosaur visual effects in this movie, but what the CGI that is in this movie looks really, really good, especially during the T Rex uh, river raft scene, which is pulled straight from the first book. And I really did like probably seeing that on the screen. When the trailer came out and showed that, I know that was a big hot point for everybody. It was the river raft scene. Um, this movie this movie splits me so much. Like with me rating it 3.5, I think it's pretty accurate at how I feel about it. I mean, this is truly honestly like a 60-40, 70-30 movie for me, where there's a good chunk of it I don't like, and there's a good chunk I do like. Um, there's a lot of things I'm kind of whatever on when it comes to this movie, and I'm assuming since this movie still made a lot of money at the box office because most Jurassic Park movies do, and it had good actors and well-known actors. I think everybody's acting in it was pretty good. I mean, I didn't have anybody's performances I just didn't find enjoyable at least. Maybe not the most believable. But I mean, it's not like I was expecting to go see a dinosaur movie and expect them to, you know, I don't know. And the fact that I don't think any of this is practical, excuse me, that are kind of just reacting to probably a green ball or a mirror ball or things like that. Um, I don't know. I think a prequel maybe would have done better, in my opinion, for me. I think I would have enjoyed that, like a prequel maybe on my Sor. No, Sorna was abandoned. I think when Jurassic World, or not Jurassic World, when first Jurassic Park happened, and they just let the dinosaurs out. I think it's what I remember Hammond saying in the Lost World. So never mind, that wouldn't really work. I don't know. I think a prequel would work better. I don't know. I think there's been rumors about a prequel movie or prequel series before, but nothing's ever come of that. I really don't know what to say about that. Uh, yeah, I know I'm just rambling, but I feel like I keep going back to the same points. I think the D-Rex could have been done better because it's the big bad dinosaur that's on the poster is the D-Rex, and it's literally barely in the movie. And I guess it's kind of Garrett Edwards' thing is barely showing the main attraction of the movie. But like I think the D-Rex is in the movie less than Godzilla's in Godzilla. Like, and at least in Godzilla, Godzilla's at least around during the whole movie. Where the D-Rex is just he's in the beginning and then he just shows up at the halfway point of Act Three, like right here. Like this is the first time I see a D-Rex since the prologue, basically. And it's just kind of like, what was the point? Like it's just not doesn't feel like it's a true threat to the characters because it feels like right at the end of the movie, it's not been chasing them the whole movie. It's not been whatever. It's a whole thing. Like the biggest antagonist is the rich guy in the movie that works for the big pharma company. I can't think of his name, but he's honestly the biggest bad of the whole movie. And he's a dude that ends up finding a Glock hanging from a helicopter that randomly crashed on the island because, yeah, sure, I don't know. It's I don't know. I know I keep talking on this movie a little bit, but like I do actually enjoy it pretty well. Uh, this was the only second time I've ever watched this movie, but there's still a lot of parts I really enjoyed about it. Uh, I probably I enjoy doing this whole rewatch of all the Jurassic movies once a day. It was just nice to go through all of them. I have been meaning to do that for a while, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, I think next video is probably gonna be a Studio Ghibli. Thought about being mean and choosing like the most depressing movie I could find. And it's probably either gonna be Grave of Fireflies or Come and See. I know Grave of Fireflies is a Ghibli movie, but I don't think I want to feel that depressed. Even though I've never seen it, I know it's gonna be sad. Or Schindler's List. Schindler's List probably would be another good one to pick. But anyway, I don't know. I'll probably choose a Ghibli. Probably do something I haven't seen yet since I've seen all seven of these movies now before at least once. But I'm sure there'll be another sequel. Um, I don't know. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they followed. I can't remember his actor's name, but follow this guy in the next movie. Wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. Uh, if they go on with this kind of storyline, I don't know how they would do it unless they went back to this island or a different island. That's not Nublar or Sorna, because he's a Nublar, got blown up by a volcano, and he's a Sorna, as far as I know, doesn't have any dinosaurs left on it, because Biosyn picked them up, picked all of them up. Yeah, I don't know. But hopefully the future of Jurassic's okay. No Chaos Theory's been going pretty strong. I think it just ended its story with it caught up to Dominion. So, I don't know. I feel like the next thing in the cards for a Jurassic movie would probably be a prequel or like a in between JP3 and Jurassic World type deal. I feel like it'd be something like that. But you never know. Uh, no matter what, they'll have to get the okay from Spielberg because it's basically his baby. And Amble's been on every single one of these movies. Yeah. Anyway, I'll make that tier list probably tomorrow. Record and upload it. And yeah. Uh I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else now. I know probably as soon as I hit stop recording, but oh yeah, I could have said that, but oh well. I think I've rambled on long enough. This has been my longest video actually. So yay. Anyway, you guys and gals have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow.